William Mount, 24 August 2015. This is a Down and Dirty. This is the asteroid kill zone. We've all been hearing about the asteroid strike that Department of Homeland Security and Pastor Lindsey Williams have leaked to us. It's supposed to hit on the 23rd or the 24th of September, followed by the Pope speaking in New York at the United Nations, telling us to accept the chip because the world has been destroyed. This is all pre-planned. We could stop it. We have the SR-71, the Lockheed Martin X-11, X-22, X-33 Aurora, the TRB-3, the triangular shaped ship you see about all the time. I worked with a man who was the chief engineer on this, and in 1970 when we developed it, it flew around the moon. We could go out there. It was originally developed to carry 4 nuclear cruise missiles. This can go out there and destroy that asteroid. If they wanted to destroy it, they would. It's not going to be an asteroid, it's going to be a nuke. And how many other nukes have we stopped? Like the 25th of May, the one in D.C., 2 blocks from the White House. Thank you so much for your thank you, President Obama. Thank you so very much, you little turkey. We need to pray and prepare. We need to have food, water, toilet paper, heat, ammo, and communications. This is where the asteroid is expected to hit. 100 miles south and east of Houston. They're going to use a submarine and a 25 kiloton nuclear weapon surrounded by lithium-6. It will obliterate this region. If you are the president of Cuba, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Nicaragua, Honduras, El Salvador, Guatemala, Mexico, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Ghana, Dominica, the Grand Cayman, San Juan, if you are the governor of Florida, if you are the governor of Mississippi, Alabama, if you are the governor of Texas,
where's the
dead.
impact zone?
Impact zone is right here, 100 miles south and east of Houston. Now, how do they know that? They know that because they're going to have something fall out of the sky, hit this, and then a nuclear weapon is going off. We are asking for the assistance of the Chinese and the Russians to take that submarine out. This is the original Oppenheimer bomb that was planned to go in the Marianas Trench to crack the planet in half. They want it here. If this happens, all of your underground bases will be crunched by the impact of this nuclear weapon, and then the Mississippi will rip in two. And as it rips in two, the phosgene gas Department of Homeland Security has been injecting into Thunder Horse, which is the huge amounts of oil under the Mississippi, enough oil just under the Mississippi to run the world for 200 years. And it's pretty good crude oil. If that happens, then everything over here is dead from the phosgene gas. That means the caldera will blow and everything here will be dead. And a dozen volcanoes. Iceland, you're toast. Italy, everything around here will be dead. This is a earth-changing movement, and since the United States uses genetically modified products to eat, this will become completely sterile. So will most of Europe because they're using GMOs. If you bought into the GMOs like China, you're dead. So please prepare with food, water, toilet paper, ammo, at least 1 gun per adult, know how to use it, heat and communications. For food, if you want to call Thrive, they have lots in stock. One of the members of the board of directors I met a couple of nights ago, he and I have been talking about what's coming. You call 877-743-5373. Use my number, sign up. I don't care. It's 17266. Just get some food in the house. We have Thrive. Comes in small containers, comes in large containers. We have rice and beans packed with diatomaceous earth. We have Mountain House, which I don't really like as much as Thrive, but it comes in little neat packages, and you can add this to the rice and beans, and it goes a long ways. We have seaweed, so we don't have to worry about vegetables if everything blows up. I mean, these people are evil to the core. We have Uncle Harry's breathing medication. We have Immucyst, Key, and Citricare. Key, because of the diseases they're spreading, like the new tuberculosis out of Pittsburgh, is now all over in the VA medications. You need all of this. I buy that because it lasts long and
It's healthier.
It's really healthy. They freeze dry it. It's good for you.
And it's non-GMO.
This you use when you're camping. I like it. You just add hot water. But these don't have any genetically modified foods in them. But this is a life-changing event, and I'm just going to be down and dirty. You can look for the rest on YouTube. Folks, this is a real thing, and we're asking the foreign governments to stop the United States submarine from coming into the Gulf of Mexico and destroying half the planet. The impact zone I mean, if you're the president of Honduras, Nicaragua, all these countries, the capitals, of course, are on the coast. If you're the presidents of any of these countries, if you're the governors of any of these states, if they are allowed to blow that up under Operation, I think it was Operation Crossroads, when they torched off the first hydrogen bomb in Bikini Atoll, and they watched what the tidal waves would do. If you live in this area, underground bases, the impact zone will crush you. And the least it will do is turn out your power, and you're stuck down there to suffocate to death. But the impact will crush that rock. When they torched off those nukes to make those little underground bases, and it hardened that, they're crumbly and it will crush them. Thank you very much for watching, and pray that the United States corporate government under President Obama is stopped from doing this, because if they aren't stopped, it's the end of about 3/4 of the population on planet Earth and the obliteration of freedom in America. Thank you very much for watching, and you have a good night, and pray. Please pray with me that these evil people, everything they do fails from this day forward. Thank you very much, and good night.
In our solar system, we have a problem, a plague on all our planets and moons.
The inner solar system's like a shooting gallery. It is a clear and present danger.
Craters, impact sites, everywhere you look.
If a big one hits, we all die.
The offenders? Asteroids, lumps of rock, metal, or both. Some older than the Sun. Many from the asteroid belt, a teeming mass of rubble lying between Mars and Jupiter, pieces of a planet that never formed. And comets, remains of the early solar system, lumps of ice and dirt from beyond the planet Neptune.
But the thing about asteroids and comets is that they're small, so they have orbits round the Sun that can change. Now, obviously no orbits are circular, they're all elliptical, but the planets and most of the asteroids and comets have orbits that are very nearly circular. But if you perturb one of those, that ellipse can become much, much more eccentric, much longer and thinner, and that can bring asteroids and comets quite close into the Sun. Now, if that happens, of course, then planets and their moons can get in the way, and that's when we get hit by stuff.
So why does the Earth appear to have no craters? Are we somehow special?
Well, the reason that there appears to be a lack of craters on the Earth is, of course, because of our atmosphere. When a small object hits the top of the atmosphere, then the air resistance slows it right down. The object will either burn up through friction or break up. Well, the atmosphere protects us only from the little ones. Of course, it has absolutely no effect whatsoever on the big ones. But even when you do blow a crater on the Earth, the wind, the rain, erosion, all those weathering processes all combine to wear it away again.
So what would happen if we were hit by a big one?
An asteroid would be hitting the Earth at somewhere between 15 and 20 kilometers per second. When a 10-kilometer sized rock hits the ground, the rock itself simply vaporizes. So what you get is a nice big explosion under the ground. That blows a crater, and if your rock was about 10 kilometers across, you'd expect a crater about 200 kilometers wide. The heat and the blast from the explosion itself is going to take out, well, certainly the area of a large country. The material blown out in that explosion is what really does the damage. You set the sky on fire, which means on the ground underneath, of course, you're under the grill. And it'll also set fire to forests and brushland globally. The smoke and the soot from those brush fires then combine with the dust that was blown out in the atmosphere to simply blanket the planet. Add all of that together and we have a really bad day.
The last time this happened, it wiped out the dinosaurs. Is there anything we can do to avoid the same fate? The first step is to scan the skies for anything that could pose a threat.
But what we're actually looking for, of course, is something that moves. Asteroids look like stars, but because they're members of the solar system, they move relative to stars. Now, what I've got here are 3 images, all of the same bit of sky, but those were taken 2 or 3 minutes apart. And if we get the computer to stitch those 3 together align all the stars and then play them back one after another, well, can you see the object move? If you look very closely, that fella there. Once we've found one of these things, then clearly the next thing we need to know is where it's going.
So far, we've discovered many thousands of these near-Earth objects. The majority of them should give us little to worry about, but currently there are over 200 that we have classified as potentially hazardous.
One's called 2004 MN4 Apophis, about 800 metres across, and in 2029 it's going to come exceedingly close to the Earth but not hit it, but the Earth will change its orbit, and we don't know where it's going to go after that. So there is a possibility that it could hit in 2036.
If we were to confirm one was heading our way, then is there anything we could do to stop it?
But once you know what its physical properties are, then you can develop a countermeasure. The first option is to go for the sort of Bruce Willis approach. You know, let's try and blow the thing to bits. All you've done is converted a single, predictable bullet into an unpredictable shotgun blast. The second option is much simpler and much more elegant. All you've got to do is give the thing a tiny little nudge, just enough to guarantee that it misses the Earth. Now, while this is a very rare event, it's the only natural hazard we know of that puts the future of our entire species at risk. But it's the one natural hazard that we can predict, and as we've discussed, we can make it go away.